Hello, everyone. Is my voice okay? the volume, okay. I've specifically prepared a lot of small fonts today, but I'll try to read them out. So I'm actually co-presenting with Claire. I'll be talking through some of the different ways we've been working with different research groups and just showcasing some highlights in the past few years. So why diverse approaches? Researcher needs are diverse, and our bread and butter has been HPC, traditional HPC, but for the past 6-7 years, we've been hearing a lot of different needs around like data repository or sort of interactive environments. So we've been venturing out beyond our core services. So what do I say here? So we've identified more different use cases, and we go into partnerships and collaborations with specific research groups or institutions to accomplish that. And for our main HPC, it's all backed by our amazing researcher support team, and we have one representation here. We have about 10 people in the team. And they're nothing like your typical help desk, but more like they all have like PhDs. You don't, but there's lots of expertise in different science domains, biology, chemistry, engineering, and they all have HPC expertise combined with it so that they can optimize various scientific tools into the kits that we have. And all the tickets they get, it's not just simple tasks, it's like a beginning of a relationship, and all the knowledge they build gets reused and gets fed into like next interactions. One of key recent example that I wanted to highlight was Denis from our team is actively learning about this thing called CANDLE, Cancer Distributed Learning Environment project, which is building on a single scalable deep neural network. I have no idea what that means, but it's a project which focuses on machine learning aspects of the challenges such as protein behaviors in tumor cells, relationship between tumors and drugs, analyzing biomedical records to extract new patterns and information. I tried to sort of have an attempt at charting out different maturity levels of various services that NeSI offers. This is using a concept called Wadley map by Simon Wadley. It's sort of, from the left is more exploratory, less mature, and on the right is more commodity, more mature, well-defined. So it doesn't mean one thing is better or worse, it's just different, showing different types. So on the rightmost corner is data transfer, which we use actually Globus, which is widely adopted, and the use cases are very well understood. And here we have things like training, support, and consultancy, which leans towards more left because they are very much case by case. And also training, I just used a single circle, but our training range from very specialized to something more commonly found elsewhere, like intro to command line, which might sit all the way there. And the partnership and collaborative projects sit here where we explore new opportunities and try new things with new partners. One of the biggest collaborations that we had is with eResearch. Actually, Ben Taylor gave a talk yesterday, so I won't go into too much details, but basically we've worked really closely together at a whole institutional level. This just shows various different areas, like all the green bits are what eResearch brought themselves, and all the blue are the areas that NeSI led but worked on together. So it shows all the real deeply integrated complexity. And one of the key things here is that we are always thinking researcher first. So we have this science spokesperson group meetings that happens regularly, have opportunity to like sit down with researchers and get feedback regularly. A very different example of collaboration is Strong AI Lab. They are a research group based in Auckland Uni, and they are exploring new ways of doing AI research. They're a very innovative group, but they are the experts, and they brought their own hardware to us, and we mainly look after physical hosting, physical security, and network, and things like that. And we also have monthly catch up with them, and mainly we are learning from their experience. One of the examples of our consultancy is with Manaki Whenua Land Care Research. Nick Spencer from Manaki Whenua had the vision of shifting the culture within the organization so that more of the siloed solutions and knowledge is shared wider within Manaki Whenua. I actually have a QR code for a recently published case study. I think this might be too small, but if you go to NeSI website, it'll be on the front page at the top. So you can read more about it there. But the consultancy was around a project called LUMAS, which is a land use management support system. And it is to provide support for land use impact assessment and spatial planning using different scenarios and iteratively building new models. And one of the core was for our team to work together to bring, which was literally at Alex Hertzog's office into the cloud so that more team members can use it. Let's get this one. And I think this is where I pass on to Claire.
So I'm just doing a little, I guess, cameo really, this talk, and I've got a couple of examples that we wanted to talk to of specific. Oh, thank you. Of specific collaborations that we had. So the first I'll mention is the Aotearoa Genomic Data Repository, which is a repository for taonga species genomic data housed within New Zealand. If you want to know more about it, I've just given a talk on it, but so I can catch up afterwards. But essentially, we partnered with Genomics Aotearoa to build this over the last 5 years. And the repository now has sort of 54 data sets, as you can see from the screenshot, of taonga species genomic data sets. So I think the key theme throughout was really the collaboration. So this is I'm not sure how well you can see the photos, but the current team and a list of past team members as well. So this is obviously multi-institute, multidisciplinary team who've kind of come together and each bringing their own kind of area of expertise to build this collaboration. So I guess really just a big shout out to them for all the mahi in this. And I guess for us, one of the it was one of our first, or I guess exploring projects into really looking at enabling Maori data sovereignty. So we had a huge input from Ben Tiaika, who was the Vision Mātauranga at Genomics Aotearoa at the time, and he really led us in how we were going to enable both from a submission of data sets perspective and also that management and data access to be sure that we were enabling the kaitiaki to be responsible for those data sets and make informed decisions about the research that was going to be done on them. So happy to talk more about that. But just briefly moving on, the second example I wanted to mention was eRangahau, which is a genomics pathfinder project. And really the goal here was to have a Maori-led project looking at research on Maori health data in order to improve the health inequities that exist in New Zealand between Maori and non-Maori populations. And so we had a rural primary care Maori participant group from Ngāti Porou, and then a sort of, I guess, an urban tertiary care cohort, who all are cancer patients in Tamaki Makaurau. So two very different cohorts looking at different kind of appropriate analyses from a genomics research perspective. And I can talk lots about the sort of, I guess, the science side of it, but I think actually for us, and I guess for me personally, it was a huge shift being part of this project, and I debated about what slides to have in, and I've just deleted a bunch, so I'm going to try and be brave, and I guess talk a little bit about kind of my own perspectives coming into this project, and what I learnt. So I'd just come back from the UK. I think Nick Jones and Jun and others in the NeSI team had really started this collaboration, so it was already going. And I joined from a, I guess, maybe typical UK open science background, and joined the team, entered a room, and got to that, I guess, that instant perspective of, you're absolutely out of your depth in every possible way, and you just want to leave again. And I think for me, I guess as an adult, you usually have that choice, right? You kind of, you can choose whether you want to put yourself out there and have that really uncomfortable, being vulnerable feeling, or you can choose not to. And I felt like I'd not made the choice, but I was in the situation. So for me, I think it's been a huge journey, I guess, both personally, professionally. I'm not used to being in such of, I guess, not knowing anything in a lot of contexts. And so my Te Ao Māori journey has been, I guess it's been reinvigorated since I got back to New Zealand, and it's very early in its in that journey. But I think the team, the Maori leadership within our team was amazingly open and welcoming, and so it was scary, but it was enriching, and I've learnt so much. And I guess just highlighting one of the aspects of the tikanga framework that Bentiaika with others have put together, which allowed us really to do almost like a translation of that tikanga, of that Māori world into what an infrastructure for safe research might look like. So I obviously won't go through all of these, but just looking at one, so being able to create transparency within the system, so that our kaitiaki at every stage had visibility of what was going on, was one of those key themes, and that's used throughout the system. So I think that's. I didn't delete the slides. I'm going to skip through those. Just a big acknowledgement to the wider Rakaioa team for all the input that made this happen. I'll pass back to Jun now, but if there's any other context that people want to know about, I'm very happy to chat. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, you don't need that.
Thank you, Claire. So this slide, unreadable slide, shows all of the various collaborations that we've done and looks at some of the common technology choices, and we are constantly reusing our learning in the next projects. So this is sort of highlighting that. But again, this is a very narrow view as well. This is just looking at technology choices, but in terms of, let's say, product management practices or like other various relationships, there are a whole lot of connections that's happening across. So in closing, it is crucial that researcher needs are heard, and we provide the needed technologies and expertise, and knowledge is constantly shared in all directions. And we are really grateful for the opportunities we had working with various diverse groups. Thank you.